This program is brought to you by the Genesis Communications Network, a world leader in talk radio since 1998. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Broadcasting and streaming live all across America. This is HomeTalkUSA with Michael King, where we will discuss topics pertaining to your home with industry-leading experts. Michael King is a licensed general contractor with more than 30 years of experience in home improvements and the author of Contracting with the King. Join us this hour for our segment Invent America with your co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton. Discover what's next in the home improvement industry and explore new products and innovations. Or if you have that next great big idea, learn what it takes to bring your invention to the world as Michael King and Rita Crompton talk to America's inventors and innovators. Remember, the America of tomorrow is being invented today. We invite you to visit us at HomeTalkUSA.com, one of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, we proudly present Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country, Home Talk USA, with your host, the Cajun contractor, Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
Hey, welcome. That's right. This is the Invent America show on the Home Talk USA radio network of, family. And we want to welcome all of you at the top of the hour right here. We are streaming on the Genesis Communication Radio Network at GCNlive.com. Now I'd like to welcome my co-host and sidekick. They call her the Inventor Lady herself, Miss Rita Crompton. Rita, how you doing?
I am fine. Oh, my goodness. It's lovely here today. It's nice to be outside and enjoying some of this great weather before I know the freeze is coming. So anyway, how are you today?
I'm hanging in, and it's a little overcast and rainy down in South Louisiana in Bayou Country, but we looks like it's going to be turning a little chilly down here. So, but Rita, before we get into this week's show, they've had some changes in the, as you know, we've been broadcasting to go to the National Hardware Show in Las Vegas. That has changed, and I know you're going to be putting up that information on the website, and you're going to be doing another. We're going to be going somewhere else, right? You have all the final details for that, right? Quick.
I do. We are so excited because, it's growing. We are taking another step forward for our inventor family. We are going to ASD Market Week, which covers everything from what you would find at the National Hardware Show, which we consider like, the Home Depot, to a Target, Walmart, everything from, the traditional tools and electrical and plumbing and grilling that we always would have, to now the tools, the electrical, plumbing, and baby products and sporting goods and, anything and everything that you would find now at your big box stores. So we are really excited. It'll be the same thing, 600 square feet. Inventors that have been on the radio show looking for licensing, and now they actually have a section for licensing, which is really exciting. But it opens up the doors for so many of our inventors to join us. And so we're real excited. It's in March. It's March 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th, so an extra day, much larger show. And, we are just really excited to be able to bring this to our audience, and we'll be broadcasting from the floor like we always used to do, but bigger, better, and,
right.
More outreach. It's business to business, so just like before, wholesalers coming in, looking for new products, and being able to say, oh, yeah, I'd like to order, 2 dozen of these. I'd like to order, this for the next season.
Wow.
And so it really gives us a bigger outreach and all of our inventors as well. So we're looking forward to it.
And it's a couple weeks before the National Hardware Show, right?
Right. Same. It's going to be March 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th, so 2 weeks earlier. Same location, Las Vegas Convention Center. We will be on the general merchandise area, so we'll be on the main floor of South Hall. The show is actually the South Hall, main floor, top floor, and Central Hall, so it is huge.
Wow, gotcha. All right, then. Well, let's start the show a little bit. And as we get close, we're going to give some more details, right?
Right. We will have, the booth space location. We will be starting to list the products on the Inventamerica. That was one of the reasons we did a new Inventamerica website. So invent-america.com, the products that we're taking will be listed there. So if you're out there and you're thinking, holy cow, I should be going to this show, get in touch with me because we are, looking at those products that we can take, show off, help inventors, be able to get their message out. And we have had so many more people contact us since we've started putting this out. It's so exciting. So I'm excited.
So I'm
excited.
Well, Rita, what are we going to talk about this week?
We are talking about how important it is in a licensing agreement to maintain control of the intellectual property. And so a lot of inventors, they'll come to me and they'll say, well, I was told. And it's like, just because you were told that, does it really make sense? And they go, well, no. And I said, well, then it's probably not the right idea. And so when they say, I was told that I could let a licensee file my intellectual property. No. The intellectual property is the only thing that gives you leverage and to hold them accountable. If you assign it away, then you lose. Yep. So we're going to talk today to a couple of inventors that went through this experience, and, it's really important for our inventors. You can tell I'm excited today. Our inventors to maintain control of that leverage, and I think a lot of inventors don't realize that the intellectual property system in one shape or another has been around in this country since the 1790s. So yep. A long time. And it's been around in Europe since the 1400s.
And the only one that don't really have to worry about that is China because they steal it all. So they don't care. They have no intellectual property anyway. So they're going to just steal it.
Well, they have a system out there, and that's why a lot of our inventors do file there, because if you file there, they enforce it there. But okay. We've done those topics. Today we're really talking about how important it is you maintain control. You file it. You maintain control of it, right. And that way then, yes, the licensee will generally fight when there's an infringement on your intellectual property because they put the money in developing the product. But you still maintain control of it, and that is the one thing. It's like they do the manufacturing, they do the marketing, and do everything. You keep control of your intellectual property.
Why do you think that is? They just don't know the process? Because, the average inventor is not really,
Well, the average inventor isn't always aware. They get excited about their product. They don't understand, where they can be victimized. And that's our job. It's our job to say, no, this is the right way to do it. And when I talk to them and they really start to think about it, it makes sense, because if you don't maintain the intellectual property, that's your leverage. That's what you say, this is mine. The USPTO said, this is mine, and I get to control it. If you sign it away, they control it. And, yes, if you still get your name on it, and this is where the problem is when it comes to licensing. Your name is still on it as the inventor, but somebody else has started paying the bills. That gives them leverage over you. So if the agreement goes south and you have to pull it back, but they've got leverage instead of you.
That's right. Well, Rita, there's the music. Rita, what time it is right now when you hear the music?
It is time to go and pay some bills.
I love it. You got to pay them bills. Got to stay on the air. But, hey, we're going to come back. Don't go nowhere. We have some guests, some topics, some inventors. We have, we introduce new products. Not only that, that's the blueprint to get your products to market. So it's kind of a really a good thing. So stay tuned right here on the HomeTalkUSA radio program, streaming live on the Genesis Communication Radio Network. This is the Inventamerica part of the HomeTalkUSA radio show right here. Y'all stay tuned. Me and Rita, the Inventor Lady, will be right back. Yeah.
Talk USA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, back to Inventamerica from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country. Home Talk USA with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
All right. Welcome back. This is the Inventamerica Show, along with my co-host, the Inventor Lady herself, Rita Crompton. Rita, we got a great show. We got to jump right into it. We're running way behind schedule. Who's our first guest?
Our first guest today is Eric Hassfurther. He is a Dallas-based entrepreneur who has founded, funded, and grown companies, everything from real estate and sports products to weather technology. And he likes to get in on the ground floor with, a new entrepreneur and see how high they can fly. So, Eric, thank you so much for being with us today.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
It is a pleasure because you've got one of those cool things Inflategate would have never happened if they'd had your tool. So tell us a little bit about Innoflate Smart Inflation Needle.
Yeah. Let's talk basketball specifically when we're talking about sports here with Innoflate as an example. So, many people who are avid basketball players, whether youth or adults, you practice so that you understand exactly how a ball feels in your hands, how it bounces off the backboard, bounces off the floor. You practice so that you ultimately become familiar and can repeat the things you want to do. But one of the things that's not very exact about basketball or a lot of sports is the inflation of a ball. We've all got these old Nike pumps with the little metal needles, and we inflate the ball. We kind of squeeze it, bounce it, say, yeah, that feels about right. But the reality is that just a half PSI change in ball pressure can dramatically change how that ball bounces or how it feels in your hand or bounces off the backboard or, different sport, how it comes off your foot. And so we're all pretty inexact about that. So, we'll pay $200 for a pair of basketball sneakers that really don't help you get the ball through the hoop at all, yet we're paying 50 cents for these old inflation needles. And so a friend of mine, Graham Roach, genius inventor, he invented the Innoflate Smart Inflation Needle. So when you just attach it to the end of your pump, and when you're inflating a basketball, it whistles when you get to the right PSI and basically stops inflating the ball. So you just pump till you hear the whistle, pull it out, and now you know that you're playing with the exact 8 PSI pressure that the NBA recommends for all basketballs. And so the invention certainly applies across all sports, but we started with basketball.
Well, and when I went to your website and I actually saw the way you guys had laid it out, it's like, all right, I got it right away, and I understand the issue and how easy the solution was. So the website, anybody out there who wants to see exactly what Eric is talking about, www.Innoflate, INNOFLATE.com. Fascinating. So what we're talking about today, Eric, and the conversation I had with you really kind of solidified the need for this conversation, was that you had a licensing deal in place. Nobody put 2020 pandemic into their business plan for 2020. What happened?
Yeah, so our plan all along, or a hope all along for this product, was to get it in the hands of one of the national sporting good manufacturers that already had distribution everywhere. And so about 2018, we started running down that road, and by 2019, we were engaged with one of the largest sporting good manufacturers in the world, ones that have distribution into all the major retailers. We thought everything was exactly as we hoped, and it really was. It was going really well with them as we worked through the terms of the agreement. As after the agreement, we then started working with their manufacturing team on figuring out how they were going to mass manufacture these. And then the pandemic hit, right? And that just kind of put everything on pause for a little bit. And we said, hey, this will be, we all thought it'd be a few months at first. But really, probably 9 months or so later, we picked things back up. Well, in that 9 months, one of the senior level management folks who we'd been working with, he left the company and went to do something else with his career. So we were handed off to another relationship in the company. And he was great, and we kept moving forward. He wasn't quite a senior, but kept moving forward. And then as kind of the economic uncertainty coming out of COVID hit, as people were looking towards what's coming in the future, the sporting good manufacturer, they were owned by a parent company who was owned by a parent company who was owned by a conglomerate. And that conglomerate ended up putting a freeze on all capital expenditures. And so this product was going to be injection molded, and injection molds aren't cheap. They can run $10,000 to $50,000 depending on what you're doing. And they were unable to get past that freeze. They couldn't get through the red tape that kind of the parents company put in place. And eventually they said, hey, we're not sure we're going to be able to move forward with this in the time frame that we'd laid out in the licensing agreement. And so we decided to get released from that agreement, and not what we'd all hoped. We were really encouraged and really excited and glad the product was validated in terms of interest from a major sporting goods company, but we're back to square one a little bit right now.
Yeah. Now, the good thing for you guys was that you kept control of your intellectual property through all of this. And I get a lot of inventors who will say, oh, I'm going to assign my intellectual property to the licensee. Tell our listeners why it was so critical for you guys that you never did that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, very bottom line, had we done that, we would have ended up 3 years later without the ability or the value of our patent if it was still sitting in someone else's office in terms of the actual patent itself and assigning it elsewhere. So it was important to us to maintain all the control we could have over the intellectual property itself. And that's really twofold. One, it was the patent as it stands, and two, it was any derivatives that come out of that patent. So, we had initially 3D printed these, and so when we were working with this major sporting goods manufacturer, we had to switch it to an injection mold, which means we redesigned it in tandem with them and some of their industrial designers. And it was important to us that in the licensing agreement we had with them, any new changes to the product, derivatives of the product, regardless of where the idea comes from, that intellectual property resided with us. And so our agreement was real clear on that, and I'm thankful it was, because I think we ended up in an even better place with the product. And then the patent itself is still ours. They just had an exclusive license to it for a time period with some performance clauses.
All right. Well, Eric, thank you so much. This is valuable information for our inventors, because it's exactly what I keep telling them. And we are going to go. We hear that music playing. It means we have got to go pay some bills. And we want to thank our sponsors for this show. CAD Design Info with Scott Farsi. He does those early stage prototypes that Eric was talking about. And we have got now our product Quick Start, who does the more advanced manufacturing. So anyway, thanks, everybody. Stick with us. We've got another inventor to share his story about licensing. Eric, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.